tracked.
Okay, let's get you somewhere safe. Okay, baby cakes, get in there. Go ahead. All right, lie down. No. This is no baby seat. This seat is for big boys. And you're just gonna stay here until Mama comes to get you, okay? Okay, great. Now you just have to wear these because Daddy's gonna go fast and it's gonna get a little bumpy. I wanna make sure you can hear me. So, give me a thumbs up when you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, good. I love you so much, baby.
How did they find us?
I don't fucking know.
All right, y'all. So before we start talking about this movie, let me get into what it's about because the views in the box office are so low. So, an estranged couple for bounty on their heads must go on the run with their son to avoid their former employer. A unit of shadow ops, which they would call their friends because they were also part of it, have been sent out to kill them. I'm gonna let y'all know now. This movie did so terrible, there will not be a sequel, and I do not have a theory. Usually, I'll be like, okay, this was good, so this is the theory for the second one. Did I have a theory? Yes, but we gotta see if they can get their numbers up. Maybe if they make enough through streaming. And, you know, the little boy ends up being like a teenager and they put him in some type of training class and, you know, he team up with, you know, other youngsters. Or they just do a spinoff. I don't know. We'll have to see. And it also depends on how popular that child becomes as an actor. They do that before they decide, you know, throwing a whole bunch of money and making a child the main star or a teenager the main star. So there were a couple issues with the film. And then we're going to get into, like, what people thought about it. Then I'm going to tell you, like, exactly how I feel. Like, what was the real issue with this film, right? So this was my thought. How are you a director of the CIA, but didn't know that the two guys under you were investigating you? You knew how to find two special ops shadow force members on the grid and off the grid, and you couldn't tell that was just the part. All right, maybe they had to write it that way because, you know, despite what ends up happening at the end. The other issue, the bank robbery. He told his son, you know, close his eyes. The kid closed his eyes and covered his ears, and the screen is just doing this, black, 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 during every second. It's like, why didn't you just show us the entire scene of the fight sequence? When they show like surveillance camera footage on the in the film and, you know, cell phone footage, I can see why they did that. A lot of slow movement because I feel like the movie was supposed to be a little bit longer. There was a lot of slow movement when he was charging in to get the bank robbers. You trying to tell me you were able to run up on a dude with an AR that was what 10 to 15 feet away from you? You were just able to just bum rush him while he's holding your son hostage with a gun to his head. Then was able to take everybody else out. So, or the car scene. The car scene was cool, but it's like y'all escaped Shadow Force special ops in the middle of the water with no device to propel you to the. They said, oh, we lost sight of them. We don't know where they're at. Okay. So people were complaining on Rotten Tomatoes that they had to fill in the gaps because the Rotten Tomatoes scores at 33%. Pop Meter's 83%. I take it those are people who are fan of the two main stars. The budget, $40 million. And I'm seeing different numbers from different sites. One is saying they only made $4 million, and another one, the most I saw was $5,100,000. That's a bomb. That's a flop. I don't know what's going on at Lionsgate. I swore I said something like this in another video. I'm like, Lionsgate got to stop putting out films that are going to underperform. I think what Lionsgate got to do is, like, they have the movies, they have the scripts, right? I think it's coming down to the casting, and they have to pay attention to those small little details because there are certain things that can be just easily written. Like, for instance, instead of leaving 10 to 15 feet between him and the gunman, the kid saw danger and ran to the dad because the child already knows what both his parents do. He knows that they kill people, so he could have saw the robbers, ran directly up to his dad. They went for cover. Then the dad gets ready for the action sequence while they're hiding and disarms the dudes, puts son in his arms, and they walk out. How was that so hard? I don't know. Now, see, Kerry Washington is trying to do some action films. She was in 6888, which was a really good movie. I mean, she didn't have no action scenes. She was just in charge of the unit, but I feel like that she's trying to dive a little bit more into like trying to get into some action. A lot of people were complaining it dragged a bit, not a single surprise, got to fill in the gaps, uh, an unwatchable disaster. So this is how I feel. I feel like if this was Dwayne Johnson and Gal Gadot, like Red Notice, I feel like if it was those two or someone similar, they would have been like, oh my God, this is the best movie of the year, blah, 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 blah. Because I think Dwayne Johnson would have been like, hey, this needs to make sense. And I think Gal Gadot would have also looked at it from a different angle. And this is no shade. Certain actors should just keep their heads down, do the work, get their check, and go home. There are others where they're like, hey, we should do it this way for it to make sense. If we don't do it this way, people are going to be like, what is this? Despite all the chaos that's been going on behind the scenes in the industry, where there's others where it's like, I'm rich, I got a huge fan base, people adore me. Okay, so we need to do it this way because these playbacks are not making sense. So this could have been a miscast. Carrie, I loved her one-on-one combat. I love how she was fighting. She was handling herself. You know, I was looking deep in that screen. I'm like, that better not be a stunt double. You better be getting dirty. Okay, I was looking. I was pausing, looking at the face. Like, is that really her? Okay, but you know, outside that, the action was really good. I just felt like, I guess someone had to be scared to say no. This ain't making sense. We have to add a little something to the sequence. Okay, I'm just saying, or add like a scuba diving device, CGI that shit. Be like, okay, they had a device hitting in the car and it propelled them to safety and they were able to lose track. Something. But outside of that, most likely this will be going on streaming services. This is getting ready to get released on DVD and Blu-ray. July 8th. It is available for digital rental and purchase. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And you're welcome to leave a comment on your thoughts. I like that I'm seeing more people leave comments. And you're also welcome to hit that like button. And I will see you in the next video.